What's going on, Periscope? What's going on, Facebook? This is Jamel Gibbs, real estate investor, entrepreneur, real estate mentor, coming at you live with another awesome content, Facebook Live, and Periscope as well. I want to wait for a few more people to jump on. Tell me who you are and where you're from. Who you are and where you're from. Who do we have on the line today? We're doing a double training this week, and I'm excited. So I'm looking at Facebook over here, and I'm looking at Periscope over here, and we have Nia from Connecticut. Welcome. Today, I wanted to talk about setting expectations. Tori Success from ATL. Welcome, Lanny from Greensboro. Who else do we have on the line on Facebook? Okay. But today, guys, I wanted to talk about setting expectations in your real estate investment business. Okay. I just wanted to throw out a really quick tip for you. I think it'll benefit you in your real estate investing business. So throw up some hearts on Periscope. Throw up some likes on Facebook. Let me know that you guys are here. Let me know that you're present. Let me know that you are alive. I appreciate all the love I'm receiving on Periscope and all the likes I'm receiving on Facebook. So listen, guys, really quickly, I wanted to talk about, so we have Louisiana in the house. Jamel, how's your mom? Unfortunately, my mom passed away in January 3rd, she passed away. I appreciate you asking for her, though, asking about her. But she's in our memory right now. She passed away, though. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But Vegas in the building. We have Vegas. Who else do we have on the line? Who else do we have on the line? I really appreciate that. Offering your condolences for my mom. But listen, guys, we had a great call yesterday. That's not a problem. We had a great call yesterday. I wanted to do another one today. I was thinking about something that happened to me recently, and I wanted to share this experience with you. And I really think it'll benefit you when you're doing business in general. Okay, so recently I had a deal under contract. Long story short, the deal fell through. We just decided to go our different ways. I was purchasing a property from a wholesaler who was relatively new to the business. He's been around for a while, good guy. I'm not taking anything away from him, but the communication level wasn't set up front. So again, you guys that I like to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly in the real estate investing business, right? So sometimes you'll have a deal under contract and a deal won't go through, okay? So this particular deal fell through, okay? It fell through. So I wanted to tell you where I went wrong in this deal and where you can skip this headache in the future in order to be able to close every single deal that you have on the contract, because that's always the goal, right? You want to make sure that you close every single deal that you put on the contract, if possible, or at least a good portion of those deals, depending on how many contracts and how selective you are in your real estate investment deals. Okay, so really quickly, guys, how many people can actually hear me? I just want to make sure you guys can hear me on Periscope and on Facebook. Just show me some hearts if you can hear me. Show me some likes if you can hear me on Facebook. Awesome. So you guys can hear me. Perfect. So recently, just a few weeks ago, I had a deal under contract. I was ready to close it. Long story short, the deal fell apart. And again, it was no one's fault. We just weren't we weren't communicating the way we should have when we initially started talking about the deal. I found this deal through someone on Facebook, and it was a local investor, and ultimately the deal fell through. Okay, I was ready to close it, but I didn't close it for two different reasons. Again, I'm not taking anything away from this particular wholesaler. He's a great guy, but we just weren't on the same page on this particular deal. And I'm sure we'll do business again in the future. Okay, but when I usually buy a property that I'm going to rehab, okay, this is not a wholesale transaction that we're talking about. So we're talking about on a rehab level right now, okay? When I'm purchasing a property to rehab, here are my steps, okay? If you want to write this down, that's fine. But this is typically what I do, and these are the expectations that I set up front. I set these expectations up front when I'm talking to any wholesaler, any realtor, anyone I'm purchasing a property from, whether it be a private deal, I don't care. I set the expectations up front. I let everyone know what's going on up front because ultimately it will create a win-win situation for everyone in the deal. So the way that I purchase properties when I'm on the buying side, when I'm looking to rehab on the other end, here's what I typically do, okay? The first thing I do is I sign a contract. If earnest money is required, I'll give an earnest money deposit, okay? Keep in mind, earnest money is really always required in order to make the contract valid. Now, the amount of earnest money will depend on what you can negotiate, okay? So I sign the contract, I'll give an earnest money deposit, and then I lay the ground rules up front, okay? So typically what I like to do, especially if I'm using, let's say, hard money or I'm using private funding, I typically go ahead and order an appraisal right away. So I'm getting the appraised value of the property up front, okay? I'm getting the appraised value of the property up front. So that way I'll know that I'm buying the property at a good enough price in order to make a profit on the other end. And I'm protecting the hard money or the private funding that I'm putting into the deal. I'm protecting the money because the strength is really in the deal. Okay, so I'm really rolling the dice by signing a contract. Okay, I'm rolling the dice and I have an idea because I'm running comparable sales up front. I have an idea of what the property will appraise for, but sometimes the property just won't appraise. And that was the case on this particular property. We were expecting this property to be able to appraise at $145,000. Unfortunately, after talking to two appraisers and getting an actual appraisal done, the appraisal was coming in between $125,000 and $130,000. Okay, so that was a $15,000 cut. So obviously, we needed to get the price down a little bit, and unfortunately, the wholesaler didn't have that breathing room needed in order to be able to make this deal happen. So that's why we get the appraisals done first. Okay, so I told the wholesaler that we were going to get the appraisal done, and that appraisal would determine the actual deal itself. It will determine if we were going to be able to close or not. Okay, so just to take a step back for a second, because I skipped one thing. We sign the contract, we get the earnest money deposit, then what I typically do is I'll order the appraisal, and also at the same time when I order the appraisal, I'll get a contractor's estimate on the repairs. Now, I've bought and sold hundreds of houses, so I have an idea. I've rehabbed hundreds of houses, so I have an idea of how much it will cost on the average house to be able to rehab it, taken from start to finish. But what I like to do is get a final number from my contractor in order to be able to solidify that number into the deal. Okay, and typically an appraiser will want to see the initial repair estimate from the contractor in order to give you a future value of the property, because you're not getting an appraisal on a property in a current condition. You're getting an appraisal on a property's future value. Okay, so I was purchasing this particular property for $75,000. We wanted to get $145,000 out of it in order to make it a deal. But unfortunately, we were falling short by $15,000. So the key to this whole thing, the whole moral of this entire story is you want to make sure you lay the groundwork, you set the expectations up front so that there aren't any surprises in the deal later on. So with this particular wholesaler, he knew that the deal was basically the appraisal was going to determine if we were going to close this deal or not, because I needed the appraisal to come in at a certain amount in order to be able to close the deal, because my lenders, my hard and private money lenders, would only lend based on the appraised value of the property, the appraised future value of the property. So they'll give you, let's say, 70% of the after repair value. So I needed those numbers to fall within that 70%. And if not, we couldn't do the deal. Okay? So you want to lay this groundwork. You want to lay these, set these expectations up front so that if there is a snafu in your deal, no one's surprised and there are no one's feelings are hurt. Okay? You want to set the expectations up front so that you can continually create win-win situations in real estate. And if there's a deal where the numbers just aren't working, guess what? It's okay as long as you lay those numbers up front. Okay, as long as you can lay the ground rules up front. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to talk about today. We have my daughter in the background. She's watching TV right now. I'm trying to block her with my arm. I wanted to lay the groundwork up front, and I also wanted to answer any questions that you guys might have for me tonight before I go ahead and jump off the line. So what did you guys think about today's training by a show of hearts and by a show of likes? Just wanted to give you a quick tip on the importance of just setting expectations up front, and it will take you a long way in your real estate investing business. So does that mean that you're gonna close every single deal? Unfortunately, you're not. But as long as you're continually getting houses under contract, you will close a good number of them. Exactly. Communication is key when it comes to business in general, not just in real estate investing. We're talking about business in general. Communication is the absolute key. Okay, guys. So that's really what I wanted to talk about tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed this training. By a show of hearts, what did you think about it? By a show of likes, let me see some likes go across that screen. What did you guys think about today's training? Do you have any questions for me before we go ahead and jump off of the line? Do you have any questions whatsoever? Okay, so we have a couple of questions coming in. What are some ways you can get out of a contract what are some of the ways you can get out of the contract? I'm assuming that's what you're looking for. So basically, if you need to get out of a contract, verbally agreed upon, so if you don't have anything signed, really there isn't a contract. If you don't have a signed agreement and you don't have an earnest money deposit, if you didn't exchange money, then there is no contract. If you signed a contract, but you didn't provide the earnest money deposit in exchange for that contract, the agreement is invalid. So what you want to do is remember that if you're in a deal and you don't have a signed agreement, then there is no deal. But if you have a signed agreement and you've exchanged earnest money deposits, then there's a valid deal involved. Lots of knowledge. Thanks. Do you need a bird dog in Raleigh? I'm always looking for deals. Marlon, I really appreciate the love. How do I get some deals in front of you? If you want to send deals, you got to send them to my company because I don't evaluate the initial deals up front. So you'll have to send them to info@millstreetproperties.com. They'll take care of all of that stuff. And then if it's truly a deal, then I'll have it'll reach my desk at some point. Okay. If you're a member of the any of my courses, you can just upload the deals into the property portal, and then the same process will happen. Okay. Where can I get a seller and buyer's contract? You can get them right in my courses. How's that? I give you everything. Derek Anthony, what's good, my brother? All the way up from Maryland. We have my daughter acting a fool in the background, if you can see her. Good enough. Sounds good. She's over here. She wants to be on Facebook and Periscope, and I'm trying to block her with my arm. So, but anyway, yeah, guys. Any other questions that you guys have before we go ahead and jump off the line? Any other questions at all? Going once, going twice. Give me some love on Periscope. Throw up some likes on Facebook. No deposit, no agreement. Exactly. No deposit, no agreement. You didn't get a deposit check from the assignor. It's an invalid deal. You can really walk away from that if you choose to. Okay? So no deposit, no agreement. Okay? But listen, guys. Awesome. I hope that everything works out for you. And if you don't have any other questions, I'm going to check you on the next Facebook Live. And whenever I feel like doing another one, it'll probably be in another couple of days. All right? Throw up some hearts on Periscope. Throw up some likes on Facebook. And I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Take care.